What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video we are working on my Nissan GTR once again. I just can't leave this car alone. I cannot not modify it. So my car is sitting on H&R Sport springs. So we have nearly a 1-inch drop all around, back on the stock wheels. While I love the H&R springs on it, these stock wheels, I mean my car looks like it really skipped leg day. These things are so far inside the fender, it just doesn't look all too good. And if we go to the rear, same sort of deal. They are just so far in. The ride height is amazing with these springs. And when I had my aftermarket wheels, this was insanely nice setup. But with the stock wheels, it just doesn't look all too good having them sit like this. And I want my car always looking good no matter what. So I just did these on my friend's GTR. Now we are gonna be installing 15mm H&R wheel spacers for my GTR. That is gonna make these stock wheels sit nice and flush, and it should give this thing a way better look with these stock wheels. Now we carry H&R products on our website linked down below, so if you want to get H&R springs, check out that listing down below, and of course the 15mm R34 wheel spacers, check those out as well. And even looking at my Toyota Supra, I put these springs on it and of course wheel spacers on it to start, just to get that car handling better and looking really good. So now with the GTR rocking stock wheels again, we have got to put the spacers on it to make the thing look amazing once again. So after just a little bit, we've got the driver's side all squared away with the 15mm wheel spacers. Now they're not a crazy aggressive setup. However, the car just looks normal now with these stock wheels and those H&R Sport springs. And as you can see, we got a pretty nice setup. They look pretty flush. Really, this part right here is what's flush with the fender, and then the tire dips in a little bit. But the wheel itself is looking really flush against the paint, and same with up front. Now, if we just get a quick look at this, and then start going over to the other side, I mean, you can tell just how bad that looks in the stock form. So these make a big difference. And honestly, it's a pretty affordable way to increase the style of your car and even increase the handling, because now we're widening the track width, which is actually lowering the center of gravity. So it's looking really good now. Now, let's show you a little bit in better detail of why H&R has such a high quality design, and start working on the other side. All right, so working on the passenger side now, here's why you want to go with the correct wheel spacers. Now, some people look down upon wheel spacers because they say, you know, they'll cause more stress on your wheel bearing. Might as well just get the wheels with the correct offset. That's if you do them the wrong way and cheap out. So if you go the right way, you're gonna notice these H&R spacers have a lip right on this outside, and on the inside, there's a recessed portion. These are perfectly machined to fit the stock hub perfectly and fit your stock wheel perfectly. The center bore on this is going to match up just like your wheel does, and this is going to be no different as far as safety wise as this exact wheel with a 15mm more aggressive offset. So the way this is going to work, this sits perfectly onto the stock bolts and locks into place, and it is hub centric. It fits on that hub, and there is absolutely no wiggle room whatsoever. So all of the weight of the wheel, all that sort of thing, is on the hub exactly where it should be, and the studs are going to do what they need to do to clamp the wheel to the hub. So that is what makes these stand apart. And on the wheel, same sort of deal. Locking this into place. Notice how it is nice and snug. And once again, there's no wiggle room whatsoever. So you're going to get that extra track width that you're going to want, but you're not getting any negatives. So this is the way you want to do it. If you're getting wheel spacers that don't have the hub-centric design to where it fits perfectly to your car and the wheel, you're going to be cheaping out and you're going to run into some issues. But that's why I really like the machine job that H&R does. They just do a great job, obviously. And this is why they're so good. I had them on my Toyota Supra before I got new wheels, of course. But this is a really good way if you want to rock your stock wheels, especially on the lowering springs. Really made the car look a lot better and handle better, and of course, be nice and safe. So then to the actual installation, like I mentioned, you're just going to pop these on, make sure they're secure. And the kit is going to come with new nuts that are going to bolt on this spacer to the hub, and you're going to torque them down just like you would be torquing your wheel down. Alright, so we are now setting off back in the GTR with the wheel spacers installed. And as expected, the car tracked perfectly straight, drives exactly like stock. That's a good thing about doing them the right way when they're hub-centric, like I've shown in this video, because you get these stock benefits of just being normal. However, now that we are 30 millimeters wider as far as how wide the stance is with the tires, we're going to have increased stability in the GTR. And that is a good thing. This car handles really well, especially when you put suspension into race mode. And a quick touch on the H&R Springs. That's why I did springs instead of coilovers on this car, because you have 3 modes for the dampers. Why would you get rid of that and do coilovers when you can do springs and get all of the benefits of a performance suspension? And then now with these spacers on, we'll take some fun twisty turns just to feel it out a little bit. But I like how you just get that retention of a factory riding car, but with the benefits. So then taking a sharp turn, we're already in the race mode suspension. There's just that slightest bit of less body roll in this car. When you want to turn it, honestly, you can feel it just being a little more darty. I recently did a video comparing this with my Toyota Supra, significantly smaller car, significantly better handling, a little bit more precise type of car. But you can already tell, actually, wow. Yeah, doing that sharp turn right there about 65 miles an hour, you can just tell the steering is just that much better. Man, that's a good thing. The GTR is such a cool car, so precise and just such a race car, that now it even handles a little bit better. I'm actually noticing a big difference. That's really cool to see. And then now that we're back onto a normal straight road, no vibrations, none of that. You're not gonna have those issues. You know, I've seen people do the wheel spacers that is simply a spacer with nothing involving the hub of the wheel or the car. That's where you're gonna get the vibrations, the really weird things you don't want in a car like this. And H&R, of course, specifically engineers them to fit perfectly on here. And it shows when you're driving it. This just feels like a nice normal stock car. But when it's time to throw it in turn, you can tell the steering is just that much more responsive. All right, after my first test drive now with the new wheel spacers on the GTR, not only, of course, it handles a little bit better, the styling looks way better with those springs and the stock wheels. It just looked a little weird, and I just couldn't handle having the car look like that. Now it looks a lot better. It looks more like what you would expect this car to look like. So it's a good subtle difference from the stock setup to where we are pretty darn flush. And it just looks normal. That's kind of what I was going for with the springs and spacers now for this setup of the car. It looks normal. Everything looks like it should be this way. When we didn't have the spacers, it just looked a little funny, and I really couldn't handle it. It just looked too funny. But yeah, that is definitely looking really good. I'm happy with the overall design of them. It's nothing too crazy aggressive. There's no rubbing, no vibrations, none of the downsides you could possibly get with a set of wheel spacers. But 15's a pretty good setup. And once again, we have these ones on our website along with the H&R Springs. And then we also have the same setup for the Toyota Supra and then a few other cars. But yeah, GTR is looking good. Kind of a nice stock plus look, I'd say, with these springs and spacers. And this is just really gonna dial up your stock GTR. For those of you who are not quite ready to do new wheels, of course that costs quite a bit. This is a good way to do it in the meantime. But I think that is then it. Installing 15mm H&R wheel spacers for the R35 Nissan GTR. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content. I'll see you all in the next video.